Sweet sounds of guitar, baby. Gotta love it. I am going to actually show you the amp rack section. It's done, pretty much done. Got a little more programming to do, but cranking away on it. Anyways, I'm Jim from Slick Audio. If you don't know that, you do now. Finally got all the amp heads kind of organized for the guitar nerds of the world. Rockman XP100, kind of a rare device. Was their XPR built in with a 100-watt amp and a stereo thing. I can play that later, but it's classic Rockman, you know, Boston. Amp Pete 1 from Pete, I can't remember his last name. Terrible with that, but awesome amp. LA Custom. This is the PO50 classic amp. My signature BRBS EX3 Mark II. Actually does say made for Jim Slick on the back, so you can't see it. Bogner Ecstasy. This is the 2B, I believe. I never remember the freaking things. I try my best. Engel E670 EL34 Special Edition. Love that amp. Mesa Mark V head, Mesa Mark V combo, and this is the Triple Crown 50, TC50. Then rolling over here, we have a JP2C, which is the Mark IIC Plus boogie, and you'll notice there's an angle here that's not turned on. Can be if you want it to be. This is a power amp, and I've got a whole section of preamps on the other side with all kinds of goodies. We're going to save that for another video. So just so you know what that's for, that's what that's for. Now, why am I doing this on guitars? You guys make computers for recording. Yes, we do. There's an important thing about recording guitars.
Say hi to Wayne.
So, who?
Wayne Davis.
Wayne Davis, how are you, buddy? Wayne Davis, old bandmate, man. And kick-ass bass player, kick-ass mixer, kick-ass musician, so.
He said you always had such beautiful guitars.
Ah, grazie. Yeah, this is my dragon I had made for me. So, yeah, she's a beauty. She's a real beauty. It's one of those, this is what it is. Of course, I changed the pickups. Had to dick around with a bunch. I have the John Petrucci pickups from the original one, so what the hell would that be? Crunch Lab and Jesus, whatever the other one's called, Liquifier. So Liquifier, Crunch Lab, Liquifier, Crunch Lab. Don't remember. That's what they are. It was out of the JPX. So anyway, let's talk about why am I doing a video on guitars when I do that. So well, there is a madness to the method, and that is, you know, we all have this issue of recording, right? So I'm going to turn the light on here a second. It's not going to be very bright because of the doodads, but you're going to notice there's a shite load of cabinets in there. BRBS 212, Mesa 212, DV Mark 212, DV Mark 412 stereo, Mesa Rectifier 412 cabinet. Next one over is an Engel, the Pro, the 412 Pro. So that's not the XXL, just the Pro. I don't like the XXL. There's a 212 version of that around the corner. Chris trying to reach it. It's an LA Custom cab and a Mesa 112 Thial cabinet with a V30 in it. So actually just about everything I have in there is V30s except for the DV Marks. So I like vintage 30s, plus vintage 30s. So anyways, we keep that closed so we don't go freaking deaf. I don't have any mics hooked up in there yet, but that's going to be the next piece. So the whole point of this video is, why are you showing me your guitar stuff? All right, well, now I'm showing you my guitar shit. Here we go. So these little devices right here, made by AMPS, same guy that makes this AMPS 1, makes these amp switchers. And it's really cool. So you have you can choose any combination of amps and cabs, and I've taken it a few steps further. Let's put it that way. So basically, I've got a row of 8 amplifiers heads and 8 cabinets, and then this is actually 9 through 16 amplifier heads and 9 through 16 cabinets. So I can do, and you could stack these up. I can't remember what Pete told me. I think you could stack 9 of these together or 11 of these together. Some ridiculous amount. If you have that many amps, well, God bless you. Cool as shit. I want to see them. So anywho, so the whole idea was when recording, to not dick around, remic and change and I have a couple of cabinets in there that I really use pretty much all the time, and that is the Angle 412. That to me is the best 412 cab made in the world. Period. The end. And then I'd say followed by the Mesa Rectifier 412. They're classic cabs. So so there they are. They're actually both on now. So the cool thing about this is you can use one head at a time, but you can use up to 2 cabinets at a time and switch on the fly. So here's just the Mesa cab. Or both. So now you kind of get that punchiness of the Recto cab, and you get that deep, nice, smooth, clean low and clean top end of the Angle. So you kind of get everything. So anyways, what you're listening to right now is my BRBS signature. So it's really kind of a cool idea. So what is this shit below it? All right, well, I decided to say, well, geez, we have effects loops in every amp that's sitting here. So this actually is my effects rack that I took. Oh, hell, that did a lot of. Let's just say it did a lot of road work with me, studio work and road work. So, Furman power conditioner, Line 6 wireless, which I'm actually running now. This is an old Sabine RT 7000 tuner. If I was almost trying to talk out of order there. I like strobe tuners. Before Peterson made a rack strobe tuner, that was the first rack strobe tuner. So, Chris, if you'll look at the strobe tuner. So, that's why I like it and why I use it. So then, of course, there's all kinds of shit in there, and I've got an Axe FX 2 that I use. Majority of my effects are from the Axe FX 2. I do not use any amp models out of it. I have one patch. I run this like Petrucci does. I have one patch that has all kinds of shit in it, flanger and chorus and all kinds of stuff. That's a technical term. I do have a Hush, whatever the hell model that is. I can't read it. Whatever the fuck that thing says. I have no idea. Then you're going to see a GCX and an effects gizmo from RJM. RJM is who makes the mastermind here on the floor, the fancy pedal with the colored lights. Anyways, I actually am controlling these devices. So this is controlling actually the switching. The GCX is controlling the switching on the analog amplifiers, like the Mark V's. And this guy here is controlling loops for these little guys. I've got a couple of TCs in here. I've got the Moore Devin Townsend. I've got the Luke pedal, the Buck Dharma, Jeter Dharma pedal, Freak Out pedal back there. So, and I'm not a big fan of all that, the stuff, but like that real airy sound that you're hearing now is actually a combination of Fractal, Eventide, and the Moore. So it's a shit tons of verb and delay, but that's what gives it that beautiful. It's gorgeous, full, luscious, blooming sound. A blooming fucking onion. So the whole point is the way I'm doing that is with this. You'll notice that says Slick Audio on it. Holy hell! We made a device. Yes, we've actually made several. This is one of 3 that I'm going to be showing you over the course of the next month or so. So, these are made to order. They are not cheap, but they do a job. You'll notice this is the SLGLPP, SAGLPP, so guitar line patch panel. Select audio, guitar line patch panel. Pretty easy. So the way I've wired this thing is, these are basically just straight throughs, right? And there's USBs and, hooking your computer. I decided after the fact to not do that and just wire them all direct up to a hub that's sitting over here on top of my sub. But anyways, so in 11, I actually have the input, actually this is the send and this is the receive for that rig. So that's on 11. So depending on 1 through 10, that happens to be how many heads that I've got in here. So voila, I can change that whole entire effects rack to any one of these heads or amps. Literally pull 2 wires, plug them in, punch the right amp in, and bang. So I'll prove it to you now. And let's jump over to the, let's hit the angle, what the hell. So literally pop the send, pop the receive. Number 2 happens to be my angle, I have them all labeled. Pop over to amp number 2, and that's the angle. So, pretty freaking cool. And I still have the same effects on, as you've noticed. So, they're clean. Angle's clean is like killer, isn't it? Anyway, sorry. I get weirded out and freaked out with amps. I'll go back to the other guy. So, the whole idea is there's one other trick to this thing, and it's actually wired in here through one of these guys, and top of my head, I don't remember what number it is. I think it's cabinet 12, 13, 14, something like that. It's actually in the other rack, but it's a 2 Notes Torpedo Studio. So I can actually effectively put a load box on, and that is patched directly into the DAW via XLR. So the cool thing is now I can record these incredible amps, take advantage of that, or I can actually take advantage of directly miking the cabinets that are in this room. So now I have 2 ways, and the cool part is I can do both at the same time. Because I can use the MP 88S Studios, I can actually choose 2 cabs and then jump back over and, choose 1 cab and then choose that, the Studio 2 Notes as the second cabinet. So now I can be capturing that way, and I can capture a cabinet live while I'm playing, 1 take, and do what I have to do. Much fuller sound. You can do so much with it. It's just ridiculous. So I wanted to share that with you all. So you guitar geeks and you studio geeks alike, there are ways to easily patch in guitar, heads and things if you choose not to sit there and just keep setting up head after head after head. Especially, sometimes you want to dick around, and that's why amp sims have become so popular, right? I mean, we're listening to different patches and see, wow, does this sound good, or that amp would sound great in this. And I can use real ones. I don't have to just use amp sims, which, there's still time and place for it. But now I can use my real ones. And I'm sorry, but as you can notice, by every one except for one is all tube. So, the Rockman is the Rockman. I mean, that's just a classic. So, and I probably have somebody out there going, play the Rockman, I want to hear the Rockman. So I need to figure out what number that is. 9. So number 9. It's Boston. So cool stuff. I'm not going to get too nuts with that thing, but it's a classic piece of gear. Just, I have an XPR in the other rack. That'll be to show you another day. It's the same animal as this, all MIDI programmable. So there's one more piece that I need to share, and that is, well, how are you controlling everything through the RJM? It's through the Mastermind GT. So obviously that's a MIDI device. I'm going, daisy chaining basically into every MIDI capable device, which would basically be This guy, most of my effects, well, I'm controlling the effects a slightly different way using the effects gizmo and the like. The AXFX has a MIDI control, so does the Hush, because that's fully programmable. Crunch may not need any. A little dirtier crunch may need a little bit of Hush. The real high-end, high gain stuff may need a little bit, more or a lot. And the cleans certainly don't want any, so that's MIDI programmable. Let me see what else is MIDI. The multi-amp here, that's a different animal. This is all I play live anymore, just because it's light and my back is like shit. It's actually killing me right now. So this is kind of like a live rig. I can plug into it. It is wired into this whole rig, and I can patch it in, but with unplugged 3 wires, and I'm on the road with it. But anyways, where the fuck's I going? This is MIDI controllable. AMP1's MIDI controllable. BRBS is MIDI controllable. Angle's MIDI controllable. And the TC50 is MIDI controllable. So, MIDI controllable. And then these 4 here are not. So this guy I just chose, and the Bogner I just chose, because they have some really strange, fucked up switching systems. I've chosen to just patch them, switch them with their respective foot switches. The Bogner's up there and the LAA's here. But these guys, I actually have wired to the GCX, so when I'm changing patches, I can change patches just like MIDI, so it actually is MIDI controlled. So it's pretty cool. Obviously it's not as detailed as a true MIDI controlled amp like these are. And just because they're MIDI controlled guys, they're all tube. I mean, they happen to have MIDI circuits in them because it's easy to switch that way. And it is 2018, so MIDI's a good thing. I love MIDI. It's such an old tech, such a beautiful tech. Elegantly beautiful. Beautifully elegant. It's fucking beautiful, Nigel. Could turn it up to 13, not 11. Anyways, sorry, being an idiot. So that's basically the new setup. The wires, obviously, we still need to do some tidying up with some wiring and that sort of thing. But it's really coming along. Pleased with the overall sound. Can't wait to start playing in the DAW with it. Once we start doing that, then we're start tracking a little bit more, and maybe I actually get back to playing again instead of freaking building. But actually, Chris, maybe live here while you're there, you can back up and I'll point these fine folks as we're walking through the maze. It's a maze of shite. This guy here, I'll fire these up because it's pretty to look at. I like pretty lights. Wrong side. I can't see anymore either, guys. What happens when you get fucking old? So, yes, I have a Kemper profiler. You gotta have the toys, right? So I was talking about before the 2-Note Studio. That's right here. So it's a load box. That's a pretty cool unit. This is actually a really old set of rock modules. Actually, some of the first that ever came out. I was working at Dave Phillips at the time while going to school, and managed to snag one of the very first set that ever shipped from SR&D. So, anyways, same wireless deal. This is my BRBS. It's exactly like my EX3. It's the EX3 preamp. So it's a pre only, so we have it patched directly into the DAW. Excuse me. The Engel 570, which is exactly like my 670, only in a preamp version. Can you tell I like those amps? Triaxis from Mesa, AXFX 3 down here. There's the XPR, and then I've got my preamp, my Supre that I use, and my 162 SL DBX, and I've got some old Presonus stuff, tube stuff that I use for guitars sometimes when miking them up. But this is another one of our patch panels. So what the hell? I'll show you the other one. This is the SAG PP1. He's going PP. No, I'm kidding. Sorry. So guitar patch panel 1. This was kind of a different iteration. It's a straight through as well. It's actually identical to the one over there. The only difference is that's TRS and this is just TS. Hence 1U, that one's 2U. So, but I'm using this in the same sense. I'm actually patching this in a couple of different ways, send receive, to this AXFX as the sole effects for these, or I can leave them disengaged, of course. and then I'm also using it to send different patches back to the DAW, and also another feed that can go back over to that power amp that's sitting over there, so I can feed these preamps into the power amp and listen to it through one of the cabs if I so desire. Pretty complex little freaking setup, but it's some cool shit, man. It really is some cool shit. And being a guitar player primarily, that's what cool shit's all about, eh? That's a Canadian thing, eh? So I'm gonna trip back over here, and you know, it's wah-wahs. Fucking hate wah-wahs. So when I said I'm running everything through basically one patch, I mean, it's kind of cool to be able to chorus. Or I could kick in, oh hell, I don't know. I'm not a big effects guy. I like some delay, some reverb, that's about it. Whammy building. Novelty. But you know, it's nice to be able to have all the flexibility in case you want. I mean, again, I hardly ever use any of that crap. The Dharma I'll use once in a while. Rare. Come on, BOC. I'm a BOC freak, as if you can't tell. The Luke, Steve Lukather, big Luke fan. I also have a Mesa Tone Burst, which is nothing more than a gain boost. Just pushes that front end a little bit. So if I took, for example, a crunch, it's a pretty light crunch. Pretty light crunch, right? Kicking the tone burst on that, and all of a sudden it turns into this gnarly fucking beast. But yeah, you still keep that crystalline, you know, structure of that gain stage. Same thing with the Dharma or the Luke. A little bit more, a little hotter, or you can combine them. Dharma and Luke together. And here it's just getting too shitty. So I do have a drop tune in there that I don't even turn on anymore, and I've got a freak out in there that I really don't turn on much either. But it's there. If I want to use it, and of course wah-wah, which I never use. I hate wah-wahs, I really do. Time and a place for them, and that was about 60 years ago, so 50 years ago, 40 years ago. So anyway, that's the new getup, and again, we're going to clean up some wiring and finish programming everything, and man, all will be good. And then we're going to start doing some session work and showing you how we're actually feeding them in to the DAW, and we'll be having fun recording. So, good stuff. It's Jim from Slick Audio. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and if you have any questions about putting something like this together, or are interested in one of the patch panels that we did, or designing a system, if you have a bunch of heads, I will be glad to to be paid to do that. There's certain things that are given free and certain things that are consulting. So, I'll be glad to consult for you to put something together. Or if you just need a quick question answered about something, then put it in the comments below. We'll answer you and kind of go from there. And don't think I'm being selfish. Man does not live by bread alone. He needs some freaking money. So, of course, money buys the bread. Anyways, guys, enough kidding and fooling around. My dog's tearing the fucking carpet up upstairs. It's lovely. It's just great. I'm kidding. It's not tearing it, but she's trying like hell. Fucking Goldens. So, again, any questions, give me a yell. It's Jim at Slick Audio. And I will talk to you all next week. Cheers.